What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video where absolutely amazing things have just happened with Gamescom Day 2 panel. Lock in, sit down, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. So the panel started off with a bit more history about the Division 2 and community, and basically talked about the ETF program and things like that. As of Sunday, check out for the socials. They will be reopening applications to the ETF program. So I'm pretty happy about that. We'll see some new faces in that program. And they talked a lot about feedback and how it's important that the test server gets feedback, how the ETF provides feedback. They get a lot of community feedback. And basically, since they've been taking more of this in, they feel like they've got better at taking it in, and they've actually been able to make a better game. Yes, they know they don't always get it right, and they talked about seasonal characters for a little while and how they got that wrong and decided to shelve it and things like that. But there's a very big build-up, basically them telling us that they cared about our feedback, and then they announced basically that the ETF applications will be opening. They then showed this really embarrassing picture of me here with my eyes closed. And then here was the link if you want to sign up, and they said applications open from Sunday, which is the 24th of August, I believe. But then they started to cook. They started talking about the Division Resurgence. I forget this chap's name, but basically they came on and they started talking about how they've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work to make it level up, basically make it a better experience. They've revamped a lot of the systems, they've revamped the intro, they've done a lot of work with the Division 2 team to make it a canon story. They talked about it. It's not just a spin-off or anything like that. It is actual canon. It starts before the Division 1, but then once you've kind of done the intro, it then settles down after the events of the Division 1. And it's kind of a bridging story then towards the events of Division 2. New factions, new weapons, new SHD tech and stuff and things like that. And then towards the end of this, they mentioned, yes, it will have snow, which I don't remember it having snow previously, but yes, it's getting snow. And then they said you can register now for an upcoming beta on iOS and on Android in September. I've got the dates, I've got all the dates, I'll bring them to you at the end of the video. And there it is, there's the QR code if you want to somehow manage to scan this, if you watch it on PC or something like that. You can see here the UI looks very familiar from the previous test if you got to play it, which is pretty good. But unfortunately they didn't announce a PC client, and I really wish that they would. I really hope that it does finally get one. BlueStacks is okay, but you know, a proper PC support, proper PC client would be absolutely amazing for this, considering the amount of time I think some people will put into it, but maybe I'm just hoping for a little bit too much. And then the big reveal happened. Magnus returned to the team, who has the same job title as Yannick does, and he worked on the original implementation of the Division 1 and Survival. And then he announced this, the Division 2 Survivors. So they called it a survival mode. They said it's more than just a remake, was the words that came out of their mouth. So it is going to be a survival game mode, but it's not just a remake or a reimagining of the first one. It's going to be a completely new mode. So they said there's a lot more to it than the original mode. And then they showed us some screenshots. Now, I've got the screenshots saved. I took photos of them all during the actual presentation, so I'll show you them now. So this was the first picture they showed us, just the stand-in logo, I guess. They then showed us this picture, and all these areas are in the same area of the map. So I do wonder if it's just going to be based, you know, kind of in that region near the Capitol Hill, building. Is it going to be just around that rather than the full map experience like the original Survival was? But I mean, we don't know. They could just be showing us artwork that they've done down there. Maybe there's some central location or somewhere you need to get to, and that's part of it. But they did mention that the word survivors is key to the mode. So I am wondering, my first thoughts are we actually going to get to play survivors of the original kind of breakout of the Dollar Flu, or some of the original characters from back in the day before we kind of got to meet them. It's going to have to be after Division 1 kind of era, I would think, because obviously we're in DC. But I'm just kind of thinking, are we actually going to get to play some of these characters from our past, which could actually be pretty good, older agent stories or something like that, that we might get to know a little bit more about, because Survival was never a character. It was a character that you kind of played with, survived, and then got rewards back that you would use on your own character. But definitely interested to see what you think about the word survivors in the comments down below. Next, they show this one. Now, this is another kind of survivor play or survivors play. Obviously, we see here an agent, but he's helping what looks like some kind of paramedic civilian. So maybe the plan is get in and get out with the civilians. We've had talk recently of the new NPC kind of companion that we're going to get in one of the seasons. So maybe that's a possibility. Maybe we get in, we rescue people, they follow you around, you've got to protect them, you know, help them extract and not die. I don't know. And then we got this very chilling picture of inside the Capitol. Now, this obviously here is an agent, but it's hard to tell what these are. They just look like people that are just looting. So, but obviously it's inside Capitol building. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Some kind of mast in the middle with a CCTV camera on the top, speakers, like a territory control type maybe, or something like that. But they've got a loot bag there as well. And you can't really make out anything else that's going on. If you read this, you are dead. I can't really see anything so far, but definitely interested to see what the community thoughts are around this. As always, let me know what you think down below. But obviously, you know, maybe it's just indicating a race to the middle, a race to the Capitol, you know, or something like that. Get the loot and get out. But yeah, pretty crazy. And then the last surprise we got here, the updated roadmap from yesterday. Now, it doesn't just have the seasons in. So we've got Crossroads, The Pact, which is coming on September the 9th. Then in, I believe it was in September that they said that the Resurgence tests will take place. Then we'll have Season 3, just about our normal time, which I believe they said starts the beginning of December yesterday. Then we have early next year, the 10-year anniversary, which I believe is in March. And then it was just TVA, the Survivors' next big thing. Now, there was no, you know, is this a DLC? There was nothing like that. Is it going to cost? Is it going to be free? You know, nothing like that. But it's going to be a long time, I think, before we hear anything else about Survivors. Certainly after the anniversary next year at a minimum. But they did say that they're going to work, you know, with the test programs, the ETF, and hopefully as many people as they possibly can early with Survivors to get feedback, because they always normally, they said obviously with Brooklyn, you know, the feedback was given quite late. The program was practically you know, the add-on was pretty much complete before they started getting feedback, which does restrict how much they can actually do. But with Survivors, they said they were going to do that much earlier, so it's still in very early development. I imagine it could be a year, you know, before we actually see it. But yeah, I'm just guessing at this point. Actually, no idea. But that's going to be it for the video. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing all the comments about this. It's been long awaited. Everyone's wanted survival. Is this the game mode to keep the game going to Division 3? I can't wait to see the feedback, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.